Good afternoon. I'm nagaRAJU from Hyderabad, India. I come from a district number 320D. We are a multiple district from south of India. I've been a lion for a very long time. Perhaps you cannot guess, I've been a lion for more than 4 decades. And I've held different positions, including that of a cabinet secretary, cabinet treasurer, region chairperson, and a few other positions as well. And currently, I'm the district CLLI coordinator. I'm going to talk to you today about an experiment that we did in our district quite successfully last year. And we are continuing that this year and perhaps the future years as well. And I've been invited to this program to talk to you about how this program brought very rich dividends to our district, and perhaps if replicated, it can help other districts as well. Let me quickly move on to tell you that this is a little history. I'll tell you what this is. And yeah, I think we can make them out. Do you all know what this stands for? Does anybody know what CLLI? Emerging Lions Leadership Institute. All CLLI stand for Lions Leadership Institute. Only the first letter is different. E stands for emerging. R stands for regional, limited to a region. And A stands for advanced. And at a parallel scale, there are also training institutes organized by Lions Club International who produced to create trainers. These three first CLLI, RLLI, and ALLI are leadership institutes. The second L then stands for leadership. So these institutes are created to create, train, and help people become aware of the leadership-related issues. But on a different plane, we have institutes that create trainers. The two programs at the bottom in yellow, MPI and LCIP, are Trainer Preparation Institutes. MPI stands for Faculty Development Institute, and LCIP stands for Lions Certified Instructor Program. I am an LCIP. This pin that I wear today is an LCIP certification pin. So, at this level, Lions Club International has created institutes where people who want to become faculty members, resource persons, are encouraged to take those institutes, get certified by them periodically. LCIP is not a permanent certificate. It needs a recertification. And these are the institutes available. We were thinking of one question. All these institutes have some preliminary conditions to get admission. All these institutes cater to the needs of lions who have already been there for some time. Those who have been presidents, those who have already been officers, those who have been district governors, and those who have already trained at different levels and have become trainers and identified trainers. All these institutes cater to the needs of those people. The question that worried us was, what about the lions who are at the grassroots? What about the lions who do not have this opportunity to take any one of these courses? What happens to lions who want to be educated, equipped, trained, but are not eligible? So that question worried us. And so what we did is, we went to create another program called CLLI, which was limited to one district. Instead of people coming from different areas and different districts, instead of sometimes some the RLLI programs are conducted for lions from all over the multiple district. So we thought, why should not we invite people from one single district and organize a program exclusively for lions from that district? That program was quite successful, and we've been doing it all over India. We've been doing it in multiple districts. It has been done. We went one step further still. We thought these are the opportunities that we are giving to people who are already at the top. A region chairperson can do any of these courses. A zone chairperson can do any of these courses. Somebody who has already been a club president can do any of these courses. Somebody who has been a vice governor or district governor can do any of these 4 programs. But what about somebody who has just joined Lionism? Somebody who does not have any exposure at all. And that's where the problem actually lies. There has been so much of accretion, so much of people leaving Lionism. Retention has been a problem. If we look at the statistics, Lions who joined in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years are the ones who have been leaving the organization. Those who have already been there for a decade are not leaving, they are there. They have enjoyed the benefits of Lionism, the dividends of Lionism, and they continue to be there. But unfortunately, the younger ones, those who have not had much leadership opportunity, they've just come into Lionism, they have not got an opportunity to understand what exactly Lionism is, and they are immediately leaving also. So to help us retain the new members, we thought there must be a training institute for the youngsters. There must be an institute like this, which helps those who have just joined Lionism. So what did we do? We just did something called CLLI with 3 objectives. We thought of 3 things that we could achieve if we organized a program exclusively for the new Lions. Those who are 1 year old or maybe less than 1 year old, maybe a few months old in Lionism, or Lions have been there for 1 or 2 years but have not much exposure to any of the positions or training institutes. So to help them, we just thought of these 3 things. The one, this is not anything that goes against the spirit of our training institutes, but this supplements, this some kind of supports what Lions Club International is doing. So it's a parallel program with a similar objective to help young Lions train themselves, to give them knowledge, to give them skills, to build an attitude in them, the right attitude in them. So these were the objectives when we created this. The first was to supplement them and to help Lions at the entry level. The youngest Lions, those who have been only a few months old or maybe at best 1 or 2 years old. And the second one is to orient and to retain the young Lions so that we can build them knowledge and their understanding. We can improve their knowledge, we can improve their understanding, we can change their attitude. This was what we thought when we did this, right? So this was the second object. And the third one, of course, to build skills in them. Many of them come from different areas, different walks of life, and they just join Lionism, sometimes not even knowing what exactly the organization is, what this philosophy is, what are the ideals, what are the objects, what are the ethics of Lionism, what is the history of Lionism. These things they do not have an idea. And Lions need some skills, at least speaking skills, because Lions are going to occupy important positions tomorrow. They are going to become club presidents. They are going to occupy important positions. That's why we thought we must give them some leadership skills, some soft skills, some speaking skills. These must also be a part of that. With that objective in mind, we created this. And immediately when we thought that this was a good idea, we did some brainstorming. So some important senior Lions of our district, right, led by the then GFT coordinator, our region chairpersons, our vice district governors, our district governor, our senior leaders, we all sat down together and we discussed how we could shape this. What kind of shape can we give to this institute? What could be the curriculum? And how should it be delivered? How long the program should be? These were some questions that we had. So we sat together and we did some research. So what we do? We took inputs from different levels. We talked to people around and then we asked them, in case we create an institute, what do you like to start in? In case you are invited to an institute like this, how much time are you willing to give? In case we create a program like this, how long can you sit down? Right? What should be the modules? Some questions we asked and then collected data from them. We received inputs from different levels. And similarly, we created a think tank group within our district, about half a dozen of us, and then we all sat down together, all analyzed the data that we received, and we thought that a properly structured program must be given. Instead of some loosely enabled program, we thought the program must be properly structured. With that idea, we sat down and took decisions on this. When we finalized the curriculum, we thought that there should be at least 3 important components in that. We thought that there are 3 areas in which the CLLI should be focused on. What are the three areas we thought at least 1/3 of the time should be given to equip Lions participants about the knowledge. What does that include? Everything that we need to know about the organization. When was it born? How did it evolve? Who can become a member? What are the things that guide us, the constitution, etc. All this we took it out as knowledge. So to build knowledge of the young lions was the primary component of our curriculum. Then we gave another 33% of the curriculum. Values. There are some values. For instance, Lions have a set of ethics. I think all of you are aware, there are 8 ethics which are our guidelines. And similarly, Lions stand by some values. Right? Service, of course, is one of the important top priorities of all Lions. But apart from serving the community, we also keep a few things in mind. Some values, I'll come to that in the next slide. So whatever those values are, that also we wanted to include in the curriculum. And thirdly, another 1/3 of the curriculum we wanted to give to leadership skills and soft skills. So this is how we began. And at this stage, we were still thinking. We had not designed the program yet, but when we once arrived at this structure of the program, we thought inserting some, filling up the gaps and then deciding what exactly should be the program. Then we decided that these are the 4 kinds of modules that could go into the structure. So when we thought about the knowledge, so we included these components. What are the 3 things? One is evolution of Lionism, which includes the history, the origin, the growth, how Lionism in a matter of 105 years started from one small country and has spread to more than 200 countries today. Right? How Lions started as a very small group of some 25 people, but today we have more than 1.3 million members in the world. So what exactly has happened to Lionism over these years? When did women become members? When did the Leo movement start? Right? What are the important events that happened in Lionism during this 105 years? All that we put it under knowledge and we call it evolution. Evolution is growth of the organization since 1917 when it began. 1917 to today, 2023, the evolution of the organization. Then under knowledge, we also included the obligations of members. What is a member expected to do? Because sometimes Lions become members, Lions become Lions, not because there is elaborate indoctrination, not because members are very clearly told what exactly is expected of them. They just join because their friends have invited them, or because they've heard something good about them. They just come and they join us. So we thought that they must be very clearly told what are the obligations. They are things like the payments that we need to make, time that we need to give, the talent that we contribute to the organization, right? The way we need to attend meetings, right? The international dues that we pay. All these are our obligations. And these obligations must be fulfilled. So member obligations was another component. Then we get to some focus areas. At the global level, I think all of you are aware that there are 5 focus areas. Right? Maybe the multiple district has its own focus areas. Maybe a district has its own focus areas. So members sometimes do not know what are these focus areas, who decides those focus areas, how do we focus only on this area, not on something else? Why diabetes is a priority? Why childhood cancer is a priority? Why environment is a priority? How long has it been a priority? Who decided? Why should we work on something that's global instead of working something on local? These are questions that young Lions always have in their minds. Many young Lions ask me personally, when I go to clubs, they ask me, sir, we need a shelter here. Whether that childhood cancer is a very important priority or not, we don't know, but this is a priority. This is a local priority. So how do we balance between the local priorities and the global ones? So some such questions that young Lions are not very sure about, they don't have answers about, we thought that also must be included. So knowledge part was taken care of by these 3 modules. Then the second, I told you in the previous slide that we want to talk about values. When we thought of values, we thought our modules should include the philosophy of Lionism, what exactly Lionism is, how did it start, Is it similar to any other ideologies that we have parallelly? What does our religion say on similar lines? What does our culture say on similar lines? What does our government say on similar lines? What are the parallels? And what is this philosophy? Why should we serve others at all? Can we not be happy just by living on our own lives? So why should we serve at all? Is a important question that we usually address at these workshops. So philosophy of Lionism, ethics of Lionism. I just made a mention that Lions have a code of ethics. And surprisingly, over the last 105 years, they have not changed even by a word. Go back to whatever was written 105 years ago. The same ethics we follow because it's fundamentally so strong. Whoever designed them, they designed them so well that we never needed to amend them. We never needed to change them. So beautifully scripted they are. So we all have those 8 ethics given to us, and we spend about half an hour during our CLLIs to tell line members our ethics are these. So follow as many of them as possible, at least one of them, if not all, to begin with. But of course, ideally, everybody must be practicing them to become not better lions, but to become better human beings. Right. Then the third thing, we also talked here about our LCIF. What is LCIF? Why do we donate to LCIF? How do we donate to it? How much can we donate? In case we donate, what happens? What are the dividends? What are the riches that we derive by donating money to LCIF? These are some things that go into this component. Then we have a third category where we want to build skills among people. While this component and this component are fixed, we don't change them wherever, whichever club we go to, whatever be the number of institutes that we are doing. This is there as it is everywhere. But here we have some leg room, we have some elbow room. What we do, we give some freedom to the clubs. Depending on the kind of members that come, sometimes we have only women members. Sometimes there may be a club which is professionals, only professionals. Maybe their requirement is slightly different. Sometimes we have clubs started in rural areas, right? So in such cases, the requirement may be slightly different. To take that into account, we are manipulated a little. These modules are not fixed. These modules are changeable. Changeable depending upon the circumstances and also the kind of the members that are there participating in the institute. So we talk about leadership skills, management skills, soft skills, speaking skills, right? All skills relating to the possible growth of a life as a leader are included in this, but we give them an option. For instance, if there are professionals already, all of them are reasonably good speakers, we don't need speaking skills, there may be something else there. Maybe there is a club where there is some small conflicts which we are not able to overcome. Maybe conflict resolution perhaps can be one of the components there. So this is depending on the quality of the members that attend the meetings. And the last one is not a separate curriculum point, but we include it everywhere. So what are the opportunities that are available to young lions? What more can they do? In case they want to learn something beyond the scope of the CLLI, where can they go? For instance, many lions do not know what is this Lions Learning Center. How many of you have done a course in LLC? That's great. Very wonderful. That's very wonderful. So there are some lions who do not know that there is something called LLC. They do not know that there are wonderfully structured courses there. And some of them perhaps do not even have their own IDs, right? Their own passwords. They have not created them. So in such cases, they need to be shown the plenty of information that's available. There is an ocean of information on the Lions Club's website itself. There are books, there are manuals, there are senior lions to help us, there are publications, right? And all these are available to us, and we have social networking lines, and all these things are also included as components of other major modules. So this is how we structured then the methodology. So how can this be done? Generally, ideally it's about 5 to 6 hours. We start in the morning and we close late in the evening. So we get about 5 to 6 hours. That time we We include all these things to make the training institute as interesting as possible. Generally, we have about one or two icebreakers, maybe some warm-ups, some activities, and generally we give them a pre-assignment. Before they come to the institute, we ask them to finish something. Sometimes the assignments that we give are very, very, very easy. Because the idea is not to trouble them with very serious questions, but to just get them involved. For instance, last 3 or 4 CLLIs that I did, I just asked them to send me a selfie, that's all. That was the pre-assignment. Ask them to send a selfie. Ask them to send a question like, why are you going to be there at this institute? What exactly would you like to learn from here? Some very simple things like that, so that they get involved. By the time they come, they make a few friendships and they build a little bonds, and then they come here motivated from it. So sometimes the pre-assignments, and all of us use slideshows and collaborative techniques. We have some pair work, we have some group work, we have some discussion, and we take feedback from them. All these are the various things that we do in Institute within that limited time that's available to us. So time is a constraint, but within that time, whatever best can be brought to the participants, we try to do. Right. Then we go on to use this structure. So we begin by, because even to do this CLLI, we need some trainers. Not everybody can be a trainer. They must have either finished FDI or NCIP, or they must have taken a ALLI course, or they must have a lot of passion. Sometimes they might not have taken an institute, but still they are very passionate, they are capable, they are trained, they are willing, and such people we identify. And we have, luckily in our district, more than 50 such. But it's not just overnight, and we made a 3-4 year long effort to create trainers in our district. So how did we do that? So we first involved them by giving orientation to them. We did a program called STEP. STEP stands for Student Talent Enhancement Program. So this was an outreach program, not for lands. We did it for school students and college students. So we designed a program and we went to schools and colleges. We approached the principals to give us permission. We addressed the students. And when we went there, naturally we needed a lot of trainers. So we created a pool of trainers, and first we trained them how exactly they should go to schools and then how they should deliver the things. That helped us a lot. So we had a pool of trainers. Then we identified all the potential trainers, and we designed the modules ourselves. So there were some 6 to 10 of us. So some past learners from my home district, some senior lines from my home district are here. So we all sat together and we identified the modules, we designed the modules, we created the slideshows on our own, and we gave them the slideshows and said, okay, please go do this component like this. So we also took rehearsals so that there will be some kind of uniformity. At the same time, of course, we gave them a lot of freedom, but the structure-wise, module-wise, we ensured that there was some uniformity. Then we trained all the people who were identified earlier. We trained them, we equipped them with whatever skills they need and the materials they need, and we also had walkthroughs, rehearsals, etc. Once this was done, we framed finally with some guidelines. So what are the basic guidelines? They are not very serious guidelines. Everybody did not follow exactly the same structure, exactly the same components, exactly the same modules, exactly the same time structure. Some prefer it in the morning, some prefer it in the evening, some prefer it on a Sunday, some prefer it on a working day. So suiting their convenience. But you must get some basic guidelines. What were the guidelines? We said only one club can participate. So every institute is meant for members of one club. There must be about 20 people. If it's less than 20 also it's fine. 15 also is fine. Sometimes 10 also is fine. But let the institute address the members of one club, because your needs are different, your location is different, and perhaps your expectations are different. That's why we will limit it to one club. So getting 10 to 15 members is not difficult. Every club will send 10 to 15 people, right, minimum. And we also have an upper ceiling. We do not take more than 24 members. We think that an institute can be best organized only when the number is small. If we have 100 people, naturally the effect, the outcomes cannot be very, very productive. That's why we limit the size of the institute to 24, but lower side can also is fine. Even if there are 10 members in a club, it's absolutely fine with us. And we request them to identify only those who just joined or joined the last 1 year, 2 years, not very senior members. This is one way. Then we limit the number of participants, and we also tell them that ideally to complete all those modules, to finish the components that we chose, we think that 5 to 6 hours should be necessary. So that's why we ask them to come in the morning for breakfast, and then we go on till lunch, and beyond lunch we have another 1 or 2 sections after lunch. We close with IT. That's the standard structure. So breakfast, lunch, and IT included.
Yes.
Typically, maybe 90% of the programs happen like this. Some happen slightly differently. With a specific purpose to learn, and they are willing to spend 5 to 6 hours, and they sit down together, and the whole program, as I showed you in the previous slide, with that icebreaker, with that warm-up, with that activity, we engage them, right? And we see that whatever more outcomes are expected are achieved. And finally, this is also very important, we do not like the district to spend a lot of money on this. As far as possible, we make all these CLLIs self-financed. That means a member, for instance, the place where I live, if somebody pays me 500 rupees, within that 500 rupees I can give them a breakfast and a lunch and a high tea. That's not 500 rupees is maybe less than $7-8. So if somebody gives me $7-8, for $7-8 maybe here I cannot buy a cup of coffee. But back in India, for $7-8 I can do all these things. And also provide a space to them for the training program to happen. So I hire a place. If the club itself does it, it's fine. Otherwise, I hire a place. We have a common place which is available to us, and we serve them a coffee in the morning, breakfast in the morning, lunch, and IT. And whatever that money, 500 they give is enough. Sometimes we go out of pocket. In case we go out of pocket, the district has a budget for leadership development, and we use it up. Or the GLT coordinator or somebody else sponsors some of the programs. Sometimes a senior lion in a club comes forward to sponsor it. Generally, it is self-financed. So this concept of making it self-financed has returned us very rich evidence. Had it been free, I don't think it would have served its purpose that well. Had we offered it free to people, I don't think it would have been so very successful, because we made it compulsory for participants also to pay for that. I don't know if you are aware, the earlier institutes that I talked about, ALLI, RLLI, ELLI, FDI, all of them also are paid institutes. Either we have to pay or LCI has to pay, but somebody has to pay. Otherwise, institutes cannot happen. Here, we made them you pay. You pay, we organize. And if members cannot come to a city where we have institute facilities, we go to them. Suppose there is a club that is 100, 150, 200 kilometers away from the headquarters, from the place where we live. No problem. We travel together, take cars, some 4 or 5 trainers, and we go there and then we do a day-long program and we train them. Luckily, there are trainers who are willing to do such programs very, very happily, and that is an advantage to us in the district. So this is what we do. And if we look at the final slide, what is it that we have achieved so far? Okay, we have done some 9 such institutes this year, 2022-23. After we started, we did some 9 CLLIs, but what is the outcome? We made a study. The most important thing is there has been excellent retention. All those who attended a CLLI are continuing to be members the next year. They are not dropping out like it used to happen in the past. And one of the reasons why members were dropping out was because they did not know what Lionism was. They came and they just could not, realize their commitments, their obligations, their rights, their privileges. They did not have a very clear idea. So they were leaving the organization. So it prevented members leaving, and that was the greatest advantage that we gained. The second advantage is we built lots of meaningful bonds for friendship. Sometimes members joined the club, they did not even know each other within a club. Such situations were there. When they came to a CLLI, I saw some of them shaking hands with each other and talking to each other, finding about each other. So that itself was some kind of ice-breaking for them. So this was another important advantage that we gained by organizing these institutes. The third one They realize their responsibilities that are likely to be there in the immediate future. These young members are likely to become presidents next year, secretaries next year. So what are their responsibilities immediately after this institute? So this was the third event. The fourth one was very, very interesting. I think if I'm not very sure about the number, but out of the 9 CLLIs we organized, 9 into 20, roughly 180 members attended them. Out of these 180 members, I think about 5 or 6 of them for the first time heard what LCIF was, what an MJF is, and they volunteered to donate at this institute. At the institute itself. We also want to become Melvin Jones Fellows. We also want to contribute $1,000 to LCIF. So this was a surprise to us. Actually, that was not an expected outcome. We thought it was a training institute. But though they were participating in that institute, when we told them about LCIF, what LCIF does, the reach of LCIF, the global reach of LCIF, they all volunteered. So that was another outcome of this argument. So with these outcomes, we feel very, very encouraged and we feel so very happy that we've taken this initiative and would like to offer this to everybody. Already some other districts in our country, in India, have taken cue from us. We shared our curriculum, we shared our structure, and some other districts also have started doing it. So that's where I stop. Maybe if we have some time, maybe I would like to take your questions in case you would like to organize it in your own district. Perhaps maybe I'll help you. I'll share the curriculum with you. I'll share a few more details with you. And whatever support you need, perhaps we'll be willing to do. And about the structure, about the other details that I discussed, if you have any questions, you're welcome.
Sir, 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
I'm from District 50 in Hawaii, and we are just launching this fiscal year for the first time the Young Professional Alliance program. So I was really interested in attending your session. I learned so much, and I would really love to talk to you more and get more information about your content that you're sharing, because part of our Young Professional Alliance program, we're creating a mentorship program and we're creating a mentorship class. We're also creating a leadership training, much like the one that you have, and I'm amazed at what you guys have done, and I'm really interested in learning more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those inputs, and I'm also happy to know that you've already tried some of these things in different ways, not exactly as the institute, but in practice. So that's my email address. In case you have any more questions about this, you can talk to me.
Hi, I'm Margaret from Columbia, Bronx, Montana. This is interesting. Could you sum it up maybe in paragraph or two exactly what we should zero in from your
Sorry, I haven't got it.
could you zero in on just a few what we should, few points we should take away from your talk?
Most important point is at the entry level, Lions Clubs International has not designed a training institute yet. So there must be a supplement, there must be something which suits the needs of the young lions. Those who have not become presidents yet. Very, very young lions. That was the first point that I wanted to make today. The second is, in case we are organizing program, so that we form a uniform structure like FBI and the uniform curriculum. Wherever in the world an FBI is conducted, the same curriculum, the same structure, the same methodology, the same modules, the same lesson plans. So why should not we have something similar for our club level institutes also? This was one thing that we had. The third thing was the health retention. So though we are talking about leadership, indirectly we are talking about membership. How many members are we losing every year? Especially young members. There is statistical data available if you look at insights in Lions Club International website. You find that the greatest problem is Lions for younger than 3 years. Retention is a serious issue in relation to the members who are less than 3 years. Seniors are staying back. I don't think people like us are leaving the organization. People are just coming, they are leaving because before they understand what Lionism is, they are leaving. So can we retain them by using some promotional institute like this? Any other questions, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was very informative. but they are older, well, not older, they're lions who were in the club for a while and still don't understand a lot of what lionism is all about. How can we get that program to take to those lions?
There are two ways you can help them. One, you can relax the condition and say that even senior lines also may join this institute. You cannot put a condition that it's limited to only those who are not residents. So if you think that there are lines which feel they belong but have not really understood the essence of lionism, you can invite them. That's the first thing. The second thing is you can encourage them to attend other instances. So for instance, our allies and ELLIs and set members who are not very senior. Those who are 4 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, those are just been presidents, there are institutes. So you can motivate attendance there so that as they participate in them, that also is a learning opportunity. And the third thing I can do, just guide them to LHC. LHC is a self-learning package. As one of the most beautifully created university, you can call it Science University itself. Because there are so many good courses there. Courses designed extraordinarily well. All of them are self-paced, right? Self-learning, open packages. Anyone who has a Lions ID has access to it. You don't need to be any officer or anything. Anyone has access to it. And each course is useful. So you can guide them to go. Anyone of these alternative opportunities.
Did you give us a meeting for CLLI? And secondly, have you made any proposal to Lions International to have this program, this institute, sanctioned so that it can be spread to other districts?
Oh, yes, that's exactly my idea. The whole purpose to present it here is to make this opportunity available to other districts as well. So if our district has done it so very successfully, perhaps there is something that can be taken from here. Maybe other districts can try something similar. It need not exactly the same in terms of your requirements. Or if it in this works,
Considering it to make it official? Or are they actively considering it to make it official internationally?
I've already written to Lions Club International Leadership Department. I don't know if they're considering it. It's good. Maybe I'll continue writing to them. I wrote to them, I shared the success stories, I shared lots of other information about them. And LCI has reacted positively so far. They have made lots of inquiries, they talked to me sometimes. And other districts are taking it up. So maybe the first understanding that I have is that maybe districts are understanding, they find some worth in it, and it becomes more acceptable and it's adopted by more districts. It's good. Like maybe you can write to LCI.
I was going to say that. Should I say something? Okay, so we're from the same club. We're from Canada. We're not. Now, if they approve this, can you bring it to A711 in Canada so we can be the guinea pig for it?
Why not? Yes, certainly. I told you, Club Lions Leadership Institute. In any name, CLLI stands for Lions Leadership Institute. We added a little C in the back, and that's the club. So because that's for one club, or maybe actually clubs, sometimes club level Lions Leadership.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad that I did come to the presentation. Those two are from the same club. I'm from a different club. We are sister clubs. So I was very impressed when I saw for the participation you had 1 or 2 clubs. So can both of our clubs come together if we were to do this? Yeah. Institute? Yeah.
If the number is small, or the participants are likely to be not enough, suppose you have only 5 Lions interested from that club, maybe another 10 members from your club. Gets together. We did that.
25 is the ideal.
24 is right. 24 is the ideal number because in case we put them to pairs and them to groups, maybe 4 groups of 6 members each, there will be some valid discussion. Because group size is very small, they won't be much to discuss.
So how many Lions have you trained in this program so far? 180. Okay, that's very, very good. And how many clubs?
9. We have done 9 programs so far, and in these 9 programs, on average, we had about 20 members. There were one or two which were smaller, one or two which were larger, but on the whole, I don't exactly know, but it's about 180 members. And as I told you already, retention is the greatest benefit we have had so far. Contribution to HCR, another. Knowledge levels, participation levels, a bit higher. Yeah.
Last question. So, the last question to you. So, like, the next step to proceed with this program, should the GFC contact you or we take a card to get the ball rolling?
My contact number, my contact mail address is already there on the screen in case you want to copy that. In case you want my help, please feel free to write to me. I'll give you whatever support material. All the slideshows that were created, them I'll share with you. No copyright in them. Right? And then you can use them as they are.
1 minute.
Before I go on to the next question, I would like to introduce the people in my district who have helped me in organizing this program and those who have been with me right from designing, executing, and also taking some of the materials. Standing right to me is like nagaRAJU. He is an immediate past district cabinet secretary and also our GST coordinator. So he is one of the trainers. Then Ram Manohar Saubhagya is an immediate past GMT coordinator and he also helped me as one of the trainers and he took lots of modules and we were all one team. We did both that step also. I talked about that student talent enhancement program. So that program also we did together at schools and colleges. We have a past district governor here, then Reservation Law from our district. He also helped us in designing the program. Another man, and Nampa Ramesh, he also the past district governor, he also helped us. He also helped us. In fact, when we did that school level programs, he also came with us and he helped us. In fact, his home club took the lead to organize one of the CLLIs. So that's why I think there are two other ladies here, their home club, Hyderabad Jubilees, they also did a CLLI this year. Another member from a multiple districts. And SN Reddy, he also did multiple past council secretary and he also guided us. Like that, we had lots of other people who came to help us, who were with us, and I think enough players in our district. Whenever a club asks us to organize a CLLI, we can give them a schedule immediately. We can give them a date immediately because we don't have any years of trainers. And if it is Sunday, if it's a working day, it's an evening, it's a morning, suiting their need, I can send 5 to 6 trainers on any day. That's one of the secrets to our success. Because we cannot change the date that they choose. If you want on, for instance, Saturday, I cannot say Saturday, we are not available.
Very good. Interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you so much.